Customs Memorandum Order, CMO. Number 12/2020. Subject Policies and Guidelines for Participation in Learning and Development Programs of Bureau of Customs Personnel. Introduction. This Customs Memorandum Order, CMO, hereby establishes the policies and guidelines for participation in learning and development programs, L&D programs, of the Bureau of Customs, BOC, personnel pursuant to Sections 30 and 31, Chapter 5, Book 5 of Administrative Code of 1987, Executive Order Number 292, and other pertinent civil service rules and regulations. Section 1. Scope. This order applies to all permanent and casual employees of the BOC in all groups, offices, and collection districts, who shall undergo L&D programs approved by the BOC Commissioner and/or authorized representatives. Section 2. Objectives. This order is being issued to 2.1 Provide policies and guidelines for participation in L&D programs of BOC personnel. 2.2 Establish procedures for participation in L&D programs offered by the Bureau, other government agencies, private and non-government organizations, and other external training providers, and 2.3 Define the responsibilities of the Interim Training and Development Division, ITDD, groups, offices, and administrative divisions/units under collection districts, and the personnel/training participants in L&D programs. Section 3. Definition of terms. 3.1 Learning and Development Program shall refer to activities that aim to improve group and individual performance by enhancing skills, knowledge, and behavior. It is usually done through trainings, seminars, workshops, cascading sessions, coaching and mentoring, and other similar activities. It is also called Training and Development Program. 3.2 Competency-based learning and development shall refer to the L&D program which is based on the identified and established competency requirements of each individual position. 3.3 Function-specific training program shall refer to set of mandatory and specialized trainings identified for each employee based on the requirement of the job or function he or she is performing. 3.4 Program of instruction, also called module, shall refer to the document which contains the content of an L&D program curriculum including its description, learning objectives, learning strategies, subjects and specific topics, schedule of activities, requirements, and resources. 3.5 In-house L&D program shall refer to L&D intervention developed/designed and organized by the Bureau. It is done for courses specifically designed for BOC personnel. 3.6 Post-participation report shall refer to the document submitted by training participants after the conduct of an L&D program to evaluate their experience and learnings that could help them in the performance of their duties. Participants are also encouraged to write recommendations for the ITDD and the Bureau based on their learnings and insights. 3.7 Training evaluation form shall refer to the form accomplished by the training participants to evaluate the conduct of an L&D program. It measures the training participants' evaluation of the program objectives, content, resource speakers, training materials, and facilities. 3.8 Post-learning and development report shall refer to the document submitted by the ITDD and concerned groups, offices, and collection districts to the Office of the Commissioner after the conduct of an L&D program. Post-L&D report should reflect report of the conducted training from the perspective of the organizer. Components of the report should include training objectives, discussion, and activities that transpired during the training, results, and summary of the training evaluation submitted by the participants, and future recommendations. Section 4. Basic Policies. 4.1 The L&D programs managed and implemented by the BOC through the ITDD, include those offered by and coordinated with other government agencies, private and non-government organizations, and other external training providers. 4.2 The L&D programs also include, but are not limited to, local and international trainings, seminars, workshops, symposia, cascading sessions, and short courses. A separate CMO shall be issued with regard to availment of scholarship grants/programs for formal education, i.e., graduate studies and diploma program. 4.3 The L&D plans and programs set forth by the ITDD must be aligned with the vision, mission, core values, and strategic direction of the Bureau. 4.4 Under the direction of the Human Resource Management Division, HRMD, and upon the establishment of a competency-based human resource management system, a competency-based L&D program shall be developed by the ITDD. 4.5 In lieu of a competency-based L&D program, ITDD shall establish a function-specific training program that is based on individual employees and his or her respective office's functional objectives. 4.6 Each employee shall have a minimum of 40 hours of L&D intervention every year. For incumbents of supervisory and managerial positions, a minimum of 40 hours of supervisory/management training or L&D intervention shall be provided. 4.7 Participation to L&D programs must be coursed through the ITDD for drafting of appropriate Customs Personnel Order, CPO, for approval of the Commissioner or authorized representatives and for monitoring of L&D programs attended by each employee. 4.8 Employees are directed to comply with all training orders or CPOs. Any concern with regard to compliance to training CPOs must be elevated by the concerned employee to his or her division chief for groups and administrative division/unit for collection districts. For coordination with the ITDD. 4.9 Participation to approved L&D program shall be on official business, and expenses relative to which shall be charged against BOC Training Fund, unless otherwise stated, subject to pertinent budget, accounting, and auditing rules and regulations. 4.10 Depending on the cost of the L&D program, an employee may be covered by a service obligation. The cost shall refer to the training investment of the Bureau for an employee per L&D program. Should an employee decide to leave the Bureau before the completion of the service obligation, he or she shall reimburse the Bureau for the training expense proportionate to the length of the service still to be served. The service obligations corresponding to the cost of the training are as follows. Training investment per L&D program. Service obligation. 0, less than 20,000. None. 20,000 less than 50,000. 6 months. 50,000 less than 100,000. 1 year. 100,000 less than 150,000. 1.5 year. 150,000 and above. 2 years. 4.11. Attendance or participation to any L&D program without prior approval and corresponding training CPO shall not be recognized. Absence from work due to participation to L&D program without prior approval shall be charged against the employee's remaining leave credits, subject to approval of application for leave of absence. Payment of registration fee and other training expense must likewise be shouldered by the employee. 4.12. Employees who are retiring and those with pending application for optional retirement, resignation, transfer, separation, within 6 months from the date of an L&D program, or those with appealed dismissal from the service, shall not be allowed to participate. 4.13. All training requirements, including completely filled out registration forms and other requested documents, must be submitted by participants on the schedule specified by the ITDD. Non-submission of requirements may result to cancellation of participation. 4.14. Post-participation report and accomplished training evaluation form shall also be submitted by the participant to the ITDD for local participation not later than 3 days after the program, and to the Office of the Commissioner, copy furnished ITDD, for international participation not later than 5 days after the program. These shall form part of the requirements for the issuance of certificate of completion for trainings provided by the BOC. Copy of post-participation report duly received by the ITDD shall also be included in the required documents for the processing of training expense liquidation and reimbursements. 4.15. A participant to an L&D program is also be required to share his or her learning to the other officers and personnel within and or outside his or her division/group/office/collection district. Section 5. Procedures. 5.14 In-house L&D programs. 5.1.1 The ITDD shall develop programs of instruction, POI, for all in-house L&D programs for approval of the Commissioner. 5.1.2 Upon approval of the POI, the ITDD shall coordinate with the concerned groups, offices, and/or collection districts for nomination/recommendation of participants. Recommendations must be officially forwarded by the division chiefs, for groups and administrative division/units upon approval of the district collector, for collection districts, to the ITDD. Employees may also request attendance to a particular training, which must also be officially endorsed. 5.1.3 Upon receipt of official nomination/recommendation of participants, ITDD shall draft the official training CPO for signature of the Commissioner or authorized BOC official. 5.1.4 Signed CPO shall be distributed by the ITDD to the participants through their offices for groups and administrative divisions/units for collection districts and through other available means and platforms. 5.1.5 Confirmation of attendance shall be done by the participants through their division chiefs, for groups, and their respective administrative divisions/units, for collection districts. 5.1.6 The ITDD shall issue original copy certificate of appearance and certificate of completion to the employee upon completion of all training requirements. A certified true copy of certificate of completion shall also be forwarded by the ITDD to the HRMD for filing in the employee's 201 file. 5.24 Invitation from external training providers. 5.2.1 All invitations for L&D programs from other government agencies, private and non-government organizations, and other external training providers, including those coursed through individual employees and offices, must be forwarded to and coordinated with the ITDD. 5.2.2 Should an office wish to nominate participants to an L&D program, nomination must be officially endorsed by the division chiefs, for groups and administrative divisions/units upon approval of the district collector, for collection districts, to the ITDD together with the training invitation. 5.2.3 Upon recommendation of the ITDD, training invitation may be extended to other offices determined to be needing a particular L&D intervention apart from the office/personnel to which the invitation was coursed through. 5.2.4 Taking into account the nature of the L&D program, the necessity of sending participants to such, and other relevant considerations, the ITDD shall endorse an L&D program and draft the official training CPO for signature of the Commissioner or his/her authorized representative. 5.2.5 Signed CPO shall be distributed by the ITDD to the participants through their offices for groups and administrative divisions/units for collection districts and through other available means and platforms. 5.2.6 Confirmation of attendance shall be done by the participants through their division chiefs, for groups, and their respective administrative divisions/units, for collection districts. 5.2.7 Upon completion of the training, participant shall submit post-participation report as provided in Section 4.14. A certified true copy of the certificate of completion/participation issued by the external training provider must likewise be submitted by the participant to the HRMD, copy furnished ITDD, for filing in his/her 201 files. 5.34 Other trainings requested and/or proposed by groups, offices, and collection districts. 5.3.1 Groups, offices, and collection districts are directed to initiate and propose L&D programs for their personnel apart from the ones provided by the ITDD based on the established function-specific training program, submitted annual training plan, and the identified need of particular employees and/or offices. 5.3.2 Request for L&D program, whether in-house trainings or those from other government agencies, private and non-government organizations, and other external training providers, must be submitted to the Internal Administration Group through the ITDD at least a month prior to the proposed schedule of the program. 5.3.3 Request for L&D program must include the following: 1. Title/description of the requested/proposed training, 2. Proposed schedule, 3. Resource requirements including, but not limited to, the budget, resource speakers, training materials, venue and other logistics, and 4. List of nominated participants. 5.3.4 Upon recommendation of the ITDD, requested or proposed training shall be forwarded to the Commissioner or his/her authorized representative for approval, together with the drafted official training CPO of participants. 5.3.5 Signed CPO shall be distributed by the ITDD to the participants through their division/offices for groups and administrative division/units for collection districts and through other available means and platforms. 5.3.6 After the conduct of the requested or proposed in-house L&D program, concerned group, office, and collection district that organized the program must submit the following to the ITDD. A. Attendance sheet during the training. B. Consolidated post-participation reports and training evaluation forms submitted by the participants as provided in 4.14, and C. Post-learning and development report. 5.3.7 ITDD shall issue original copy of certificate of completion to the training participant based on the reports submitted by the concerned group, office, and collection district. A certified true copy of certificate of completion shall also be forwarded by the ITDD to the HRMD for filing in the Employees 201 file. 5.3.8 For requested L&D program organized by Eternal Training Provider, participant shall submit post-participation report as provided in section 4.14. A certified true copy of the certificate of completion/participation issued by the external training provider must be likewise submitted by the participant to the HRMD, copy furnished ITDD, for filing in his/her 201 file. Section 6. Additional requirements for participation in international L&D program. 6.1 Additional requirements shall be imposed upon nominees for international L&D programs. 6.1.1 Have no pending application for resignation or are not retiring from the service within 1 year from the date of the L&D program. 6.1.2 Have rendered at least 1 year of service in the Bureau, and 6.1.3 Have met other qualifications as may be required by the host country/organization and/or partner Philippine government agency. 6.2 The official travel for foreign training shall be subject to approval in accordance with the rules on foreign travel prescribed for government officials and employees. 6.3 Participant to international L&D program shall form part of the ITDD pool of trainers and may be required to serve as a resource person or module developer in L&D programs relevant to his or her expertise or subject matter studied. 6.4 Repertorial requirements of the sponsoring government, institution, and/or organization shall likewise be complied by the participant in accordance with the terms of the training sponsorship. Section 7. Non-compliance to training orders. 7.1 If for justifiable reasons, an employee will not be able to attend or complete an L&D program, he or she must submit a written letter explanation stating reasons of non-attendance or non-completion of the course at least 3 days prior to the program for local trainings and 2 weeks prior to the program for international trainings. The letter, which must be duly endorsed by his or her division chief for groups and administrative division/unit for collection districts, must be addressed to the Commissioner or the authorized representative who issued the order, through the ITDD. 7.2 Subject to the availability of slots and the approval of the Commissioner, an employee may be allowed to attend or complete an L&D program he or she failed to attend or complete if it should be offered again during the same year. 7.3 If an employee fails to provide justifiable reason for non-attendance, non-completion, or non-compliance to a training CPO, he or she shall be required to pay the amount equivalent to the training budget allotted for his or her participation, payable to the Bureau of Customs. 7.4 Failure to comply with training CPOs may also result to disciplinary actions such as reprimand, reassignment, and filing of administrative case against the employee. Section 8. Repealing cause. This order repeals other orders and issuances that are inconsistent herewith. Section 9. Separability cause. If, for any reason, any part or provision of the CMO is declared invalid, the other parts or provisions hereof which are not affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. Section 10. Effectivity. This order shall take effect immediately and shall last until revoked.